Hi, this is Aziz from Insya. Let's talk about why Houdini. Are you an experienced 3D modeler using industry-known programs like 3D Max, Blender, etc.? Are you a beginner that is looking for the right tool to get into the market? Are you curious about modeling or VFX? Let's explore why Houdini could be the tool of your choice. We have set here a few points that we believe are the key differentiators between Houdini and any other common 3D modeling program. You may find that some of these points are also true for some of these programs. But with our experience, we can say that there is no such program that is able to offer all these points together. We have put these points together with our past experience in 3D Max, Maya, Blender, and Cinema 4D. We have previously worked on these programs for many years. So when we started exploring Houdini, we realized these key differentiators. The points that we show here are not in any specific order, and they're just pointers. And as I said earlier, that other programs may also be offering a subset of these points, but not all of them. So let's get into the first pointer, procedural workflows. What is procedural workflow? It is a way of modeling in which you're able to build in iterations with the ability to come back and refine when needed. For those who are coming from a 3D Max background, will be knowing of modifier lists. Those who have used Blender would have heard of modifiers, and those with a background of Cinema 4D would have heard of MoGraphs, and those familiar with Maya would know that they finally got introduced to the system known as MASH. What I want to say here is that other 3D programs have realized the power of procedural workflows, and they are working out ways to adopt this to their ecosystems. However, you need to understand that Houdini is built from ground up on procedural workflows, whereas others are just trying to offer this as perhaps an add-on. So this is a huge advantage for Houdini over other programs. Are you curious to know how? Let's have a look. This is Houdini in case you're having a look at it for the first time. Okay, so we have this model here as you see, and this model is a collection of these cone-shaped objects. All the steps that were taken to build this model are seen here. When we started as a box, then we applied a bevel to it, then we did a transform and changed the rotation of the object. And finally, when we applied the command to replicate the shape. All these steps are laid out here. You may come back to it whenever and make a change that will reflect to your entire model. So say that I want to make a change to this box. I'm going to pull it from all sides. And when you come back, you see that the change has reflected on the whole model. Or back to the box and let's make a change somewhat big now, a bigger change. And now when you come back, you will see that this has completely changed and reflected on the model. You may apply any change to any of the steps and it will be reflected at the final result. Comparing this with other 3D programs, they would have different ways of dealing with things like UV, physics, and 3D modeling. But here in Houdini, it's all the same way of working, that is procedural workflows. So it may not be that easy to use in the beginning. And in fact, there are other programs that could be easy to use. However, it's more for the power and the control that you have over your design and modeling. So now you know why we call it the king of procedural workflows. If you're familiar with other 3D programs, you will realize that there is no other program that gives you this level of control over the steps that you take to build your model. Yes, you may get some level of control with modifiers, modifier lists, mographs, and stuff like that, but nothing of this control is available in any other program. The next point here is the support that Houdini has for games development. If you're into the gaming development industry or you're into the business of creating assets for games, Houdini supports the gaming development ecosystem in a huge manner. If you are in doubt about this or if you have heard otherwise, then you can take a look for yourself at YouTube channels for the big gaming engines like Unreal or Unity. You will see for yourself the level of work that you may be able to achieve using Houdini. And for us, it is simply mind-blowing. The magical part, I would say, about Houdini is that it gives you the ability to create digital assets that you can import to gaming engines along with its variables and options. This is a huge advantage for creating unique assets with variations in a quick and efficient manner. We will talk about this more in details in our course, like for example, how you would be able to model a fence or a ladder and then send it over to the gaming engine of your choice and then create unique variations for it, like how many steps in the ladder, curving the edges, and many options that you would typically be performing in your 3D modeling program, but instead you'll be able to do it right from the gaming engine. And it does not end here. It gives you some powerful tools to be able to do a lot of things. If you are an environment artist, you'll fall in love with their terrains tool. If you're looking for powerful visual effects, then this is the top in the industry. Just to put this in perspective, when Unreal created its visual effects system called Niagara, they made sure that there was an option to import visual effects from Houdini. This is how seriously the gaming engines consider things that come from Houdini. Okay, so let's go to our next point. Houdini is used in the VFX industry. This is actually an understatement. Houdini is used heavily in the VFX industry. You will find studios that work only on Houdini, and you will find studios that are transitioning towards Houdini after they realize that it has so much potential. And here, we're not talking about small studios creating short films. There is a good possibility that they're using Houdini, but in fact, it is being used by top studios in the film industry. Yes, we're talking in the level of Marvel and DC. If you search on YouTube for Houdini showreel for 2018 or 19 or for any year, you will see that many films that you probably are familiar with have been using Houdini for their filmmaking and visual effects. It is also used heavily for visual effects in the advertising industry. Of course, there are many other programs that compete with Houdini in the VFX space, but here we're talking about a program that has been tried and tested by the big players of the industry. By working and practicing with it, you will realize that you will be able to make things here you would have deemed impossible to achieve using other programs, or at least impossible to achieve on your own without the need of large teams. We will also be discussing the topic of VFX in our courses, and if this is a topic that you're interested, then you're welcome to the world of Houdini. So the next point is Houdini Vex. So what is Vex or VEX? It is a programming language in Houdini. It's not the regular scripting language that helps you build applications or stuff like that, but it's rather built for you to programmatically manipulate the operations that you would do in 3D modeling. Things like point manipulation, custom nodes creation, custom filters for compositing, particles manipulation. All this may sound like Chinese to you at the moment, but if you go step by step, learn the ropes of how to use Houdini, and then put some effort and learn Vex, then it has the ability to turn you into a rock star in 3D modeling, manipulation, VFX, compositing, and pretty much anything that you could do with Houdini. We will also be discussing VEX in our courses. So next we have is Mantra. Mantra is the rendering engine for Houdini. It is powerful, fast, and easy to use. It could be closely comparable to the Blender's Cycles engine. Depends on your render requirement, but there is a good chance that you would not need to use another program for rendering, and the results you get from Mantra would fulfill your needs. Here you can see a side-by-side comparison of Mantra and other render engines. Moving on to the next point, Houdini does not require any third-party plugins. So all the powerful stuff that we spoke about, like creating complex models, amazing visual effects, high quality rendering, etc. All this is achievable with Houdini without the need of adding any expensive plugins. Isn't that amazing?
Next point, and I love this one. Houdini is available on Windows, Linux, and Mac. So you're practically not left with any excuse of why you were not able to try Houdini. And the next point, and the last point that we have, is that Houdini has a free apprentice version, and this version practically has all the features that you would have in the commercial versions. It has some licensing limitations, so it's perfect for you to explore it as a student, and as someone who's just trying to discover what it's all about. So it's perfect to learn Houdini. You're licensed for non-commercial projects, um, and basically the only restrictions that it has is that it's restricted to when rendering, it's restricted to 1280 by 720, and renderings are word marked, and that the apprentice version does not work with third-party renderers. That's basically all the restrictions that they have. It's perfect for you to start learning, so go ahead and download it today from sidefx.com, and let us know how it's going. We would love to hear from you.